Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is David Hodge, active NGO warrior, represent Master Suleiman, the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals. This is wartime. Today my topic is time's up. Before I start, I'd like to remind my people about the Holocaust. The Holocaust. This is the black man and woman of America's true experience. But they whitewash it and call it slavery. They say that your full experience is being a slave, saying that you were in a system that practiced owning slaves, that you endured exhausting labor and restricted freedom legally. You were legally being owned, enslaved, held as human chattel or property, in bondage, legally. You were legally owned by other people who forced you to work and forced you to obey their every command, or else. You were under their full control, forced into servitude with the bare minimum as pay. And no matter how tired or how sick or how exhausted you were forbidden to quit your service. This is what they're saying your full experience is, brothers and sisters, which is not true, which is a lie, which is why slavery is not a good definition or expression of our true experience, brothers and sisters. Because slavery leaves out the part two that we endured, which was the biggest percentage. It doesn't cover the full detail, brothers and sisters. It's not sufficient. The word isn't sufficient for your true experience, because it doesn't cover what's right here in front of you, brothers and sisters. These illustrations, these photos, these pictures, it leaves out the most important part of our experience, which they're trying to erase, which was the Holocaust, torture, torment. You see, slavery doesn't cover these examples, words, definitions, expressions. It leaves it out. It doesn't have it. It doesn't include it. And they leave it out as well, brothers and sisters. They leave it out. Therefore, you're not aware of what your true experience. So you believe slavery when they tell you, hey, your experience is slavery. And you cool with that because it sounds like what we went through. But that's not all we went through. Slavery was just the 1%, brothers and sisters. It was the economic side. It was maximum profit, minimum overhead. Meaning we were given the scraps, the bare minimum, just enough to survive, the hand-me-downs, the no good, the discard, the garbage disposal. So this word does your experience no justice. This word needs to be added with affliction in order for it to be sufficient, in order for that word to have any for it to meet the requirement of our experience, it has to be added to the torment, to the horror, to the misery. You see? Or else it does it no justice, because it just seems as if they civilized us. We were savages who needed to be tamed, who needed to be enslaved, who saved us. They claimed that they saved us. We came over on a visa, or we were taken and brought over here and saved by them who brutally raped, murdered, inflicted terror on us. But you say they saved us. They say they did all these things because it was the work of God. Well, if this is the work of God, then what is the work of Satan? Because they use God's name to justify their works. Because it said that Satan's workers, those who are evil, would appear as righteous, holy people. Would appear as holy light, as true followers of God. But they were nothing but deceivers whose deeds were evil, whose deeds exceeded the limits, whose deeds were horrific, whose deeds were that of a terrorist, rapists, pedophiles. So America has hidden your true experience. It has kept us captive here in the land of horror, in the land of our oppression, oppressing us. We're a nation being oppressed by another. They won't let us go. They won't tell our people the truth. They keep hiding things. They keep dumbing down the true meaning of our experience. They keep watering it down. They keep sugarcoating. They keep cutting corners. Instead of just saying, this is what happened. They call your experience critical race theory. A theory. They said what happened to you was a theory. Didn't happen, might have happened, could have happened. They don't know how it happened exactly. Hey, it might not have happened. You see, playing around, insulting you, trash talking, hitting you in the face, knocking you out, TKO. You see, completely disrespecting you by playing around with something that happened, that truly happened, and they know it. Was nothing theoretical about what happened here, brothers and sisters. These were actual facts. Instead of just coming out and saying the true history of America, the black man and woman of America's true experience, 99%. The Holocaust. You see? Instead of just saying that and saying featuring murder, rape, genocide, oppression, deception, torture, torment, misery, you see? Full-on abuse, beaten, whipped, treated less than, treated like turned into animals, fed like pigs, stripped of all knowledge, given Master's last name, being branded like cattle, being stripped of our names, being turned from Kunta Kinte to Toby, being exploited, being experimented on, sodomized, castrated, dismembered, disemboweled, dismantled, hung, starved, cut open, peeled alive, gutted, cooked alive, burnt alive, made unrecognizable, fed our children to gators, used our children as sex toys and whatever else desires they had, using our children as footstools, ottomans, chairs, human fans, pleasures of their own, used our skin and hair to make puppets and material objects, boots, gloves, hats, wallets, whatever they needed. Terrorizing us from the womb to the grave, making sure we were good niggas, programmed us with Christianity, designed to terrorize us for eternity. used to threaten us with hell if we disobey Massa, an everlasting torment and agony that never ended, which was intended as a psychological terror weapon to disconnect us from reality, to direct it at our minds, to terrorize us into absolute fear, complete submission, with hell, never-ending hell, endless, everlasting torment, suffering in this hell that does not exist, brothers and sisters. These monsters have been tormenting us for nearly 500 years in progress. Still making progress. I thought you were of God. I thought you people were God-fearing. I thought you were angelic. I thought you were angels. So you're still working on progress. If it was in you, then why wouldn't you just instantly change if you were righteous and holy? Because you're not. Because you're the opposite. And you've been tormenting and torturing our people. Because you're a terrorist nation who inflicts terror on the people that you have captive here. So these sick, twisted devils have completely dehumanized us past imaginable. And now they're being evaluated they're being evaluated and they're under judgment due to this situation right here, brothers and sisters, due to what we endured, due to the Holocaust. They're being judged for what they did because they didn't get away with anything. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. What was done to us will be done to them. A double scoop. They're being judged for the cost of horror. They did the crime. Now it's time for them to do the time. You see? But they don't want to. And they're trying to escape. But they can't. They can't escape, brothers and sisters. It's clear that they have met their day. Time's up, America. Time's up. Devils, demons, your time is up, Satan. False Israel. All our enemies. Your time is up. You're about to be crushed out of existence. You're being crushed as I speak. All your crimes, evil deeds have caught up with you. And it's time to pay. It's time for vengeance. It says, I said, here, please, you heads of Jacob, And you commanders of the house of Israel, America, those who have the authority over my people, should you not know what is just? Do you understand consequence? You trying to escape something that's unescapable, that no one has ever been exempt from? Do you not know what is just? But you hate what is good and love what is bad? Meaning that you are evil, wicked. Meaning that your ways are contrary from my people, and you are oppressing us with your evil. Making my people act other than themselves. Make them love what they used to hate and hate what they used to love. And you are tormenting and torturing them. It says you tear off the skin from my people and the flesh from their bones. You also eat the flesh of my people and strip off their skin. The Holocaust. Smashing their bones, crushing them into pieces. Like what is cooked in a pot. Like meat in a cooking pot. You are being judged for what you have done to God's people. And we are headed in a time worse than the Holocaust. We're headed in a time worse than the Holocaust due to what you do to your actions. We're headed for the time of unprecedented trouble. A time like no other, and never will there be. Worse than the Holocaust. Because all your plagues and crimes will be compressed into 1 year. So it's going to be very intense. Everything you've done to us squeezed into 1 year. And it said at that time, they will call. They will call to God for help. But He will not answer them. He will hide His face from them at the time because of their wicked deeds. This is what God says against the prophets who are leading His people, our people, astray, who proclaim peace while they bite with their teeth. Farrakhan telling you that you stand in the land of your imprisonment, telling you you're going to inherit America. Evil suggestions with firm resolutions. You're going to stay here in the land of your torture and torment that's going to be engulfed in flames, that's under judgment. Evil suggestions. telling you peace, proclaiming peace while they bite with their teeth. All these pastors and preachers, each one of them, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, all those pastors and preachers, reverends, so-called leaders that's claiming to help our people, that's misleading them, y'all are in for it, in for a treat, about to become human popsicle sticks. Because it says, you proclaim peace while you bite with your teeth. But who declare war against him who puts nothing into their mouths? You will have night. There will be no vision. You see? No vision. We're headed into triple. We're heading into a dark time. Intense darkness. Triple darkness. There will only be darkness for you. No divination. The sun will set on the prophets. The sun will set on the prophets. And the day will turn dark for them. The visionaries will be put to shame. And the diviners will be disappointed. All of them will have to cover over the mustache, for there is no answer from God. As for me, I am filled with power by the Spirit of God, the mathematics, the Injil, the truth, the light of the Injil, and with justice and might to tell to Jacob his revolt, and to Israel his shame, his sin. Hear this, you heads of the house of Jacob, and you commanders of the house of Israel, those who have my people captive, having the authority over them. Who detest justice and who make crooked all that is straight. Who built Zion with bloodshed in Jerusalem, false Israel with unrighteousness. Who built Zion with bloodshed? Adam. You devils, America and Britain and established Jerusalem in 1948 with unrighteousness. Her leaders judge for a bribe. Evil. Her priests instruct for a price. Thieves. And her prophets practice divination for money. And yet, they lean on God, saying, "Is not God with us?" See, play, sport. Using God's name to justify their works. Using God's name as if it's okay. Everything's a game to these people. It won't be soon. So they're doing all these things in the name of Jesus, in God's name, leaning on God, saying, "Is not God with us? No calamity will come upon us." Saying, "I sit as queen enthroned. I shall not see mourning." You see, same deal. So because of you, Zion, false Israel, will be plowed up as a field. Jerusalem will become heaps of ruins. And the mountain of the house will become like high places in a forest. There is no escape from judgment. Your time is up. Everything you have planned is up. Every foot you have in these wars, you will lose. Starting with the most important war, the imminent war with Iran and false Israel. You will be kicked out of the Middle East. You in Britain will both be casted out, kicked out, leaving false Israel to be isolated, all alone. And it says, when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies, know that their destruction is near, which leads to the next event, them being destroyed, the abomination of desolation, which isn't supposed to happen according to Scripture. The world is structured around that idea, so when it takes place, it's going to trigger the attack on my people, because now they'll know who we are. But my people are getting ready because we're getting out of here. And you're under judgment, and everything you do will fail. And you're going to be hit. You're going to constantly continue to be hit with plagues, with bad news, with illness, with bad weather, with destruction, your reality being crushed and crumbled right in your face until your very death. You're going to experience your world going upside down, freezing to death, famine, nothing to eat but people, creatures, rats, roaches, anything you can get your hands on. Your time is up. It's time for you to suffer the wrath of God. So with that said, I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum.